Welcome to the show again. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Patrick. Thank you for joining us here on Cocktails and Curveballs. As always, we've got Ty, Lee, and Jim with me today. The way we always love to start our show off is I definitely want to start by recognizing all the men and women in our armed forces, past and present, foreign and domestic. Thank you for defending all the freedoms that we all take for granted on a daily basis. Can't do it without you guys. Also, definitely want to give a heartfelt thank you to all the first responders that are oftentimes working all hours of the night, probably not for the best pay, keeping us all in line, keeping us all safe. You guys do a difficult job, and we all appreciate that very much. So thank you. That being said, I just want to let everybody know right off the bat, I'm drinking a little bit of Mango Cart. I do have a shot of Fireball in the bottom of that. Tastes really nice. After the hometown victory, Miami Dolphins. Whoop whoop. Anyways, Ty or Lee, you said something pretty interesting to me earlier about Ohio State, and I want to go into it. But why don't you go ahead and talk about what you were saying?
Okay, so my big thing is and honestly, God bless Jimmy because I love the man. He's got his OSU hat on, Ohio State. And I don't know if you guys watched that game yesterday, Ohio State Notre Dame, 6-9. Um, it was not what I expected. I watched the whole game. It was one of the more physical games that I've seen OSU play. Now, the problem that I have with it is that Lou Holtz, legendary-ish coach that coached for Notre Dame, was calling out Ohio State. And this got to their head coach, Ryan Day, about them not being very physical because they've lost some games to some big time schools. And to win that game the way they did at the end, I literally want Jimmy's take because I know he's a big Buckeye fan. I want his take on it because I think it's a little bit of bullshit. I think it's a little bit of media savvy shit for Lou to do that. You can't even really understand most of his sentences, but Ryan Day came out after the win, beating Notre Dame. He called Lou Holtz out. And because Jimmy's my go-to Buckeyes fan, I want his take on it because that was a hell of a game. And what do you think on that whole Lou Holtz and Ryan Day situation?
I don't even know where the fuck Lou Holtz came from. I didn't even honestly realize that he was
Good way to say it.
still alive. But for him to come out and say it, today's game, first off, guys, the physical has been taken out of the game.
Yeah.
You can't go low, you can't go high, you can't
Targeting.
yeah, I mean you're risking ejection from the game and possibly an ejection from the next game so the game isn't as physical as maybe when he coached. Now, with all due respect to Coach Holtz, um, I really like the fact that the game was that physical because Ohio State took it to a team that is known to be physical, Notre Dame, and played right with them. Like I said, it just bothers me that Lou Holtz comes out of nowhere on the day in South Bend, because the game was played there in Notre Dame, and he comes out and he starts talking shit about the physicality of Ohio State. Ohio State, one of the winningest programs in the last 10 years in football, and surpassing Notre Dame by I don't know how many wins. And somebody can look all that shit up. It really doesn't matter. What I do know is how many times Ohio State's been in the playoffs, how many games they've won, Big Ten championships.
Sure.
Yes, they've lost some big games. And especially losing twice, 2 years in a row to Michigan. They were just out physical. They had the ball ran right down their throat both years. And so I get it. I get it. I mean, yeah, losing to big time programs, but then they come back against Georgia, maybe the most physical team in the nation.
Right. Yeah, one of them.
And played right with them, man. I mean, it's a missed field goal at the end from being in the championship game last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't you also just feel how differently football's played like in each conference between the Big 12, like that's air raid. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
SEC,
yeah.
that's smash mouth. Big Ten is like pro style. Most of those colleges are like a pro style offense.
Yeah, they do.
You
That's
know,
right.
Big
Yep.
so
time.
it's curious to see how like some of it goes to like what each conference kind of staples home as being like, this is how our conference plays football.
So that's an interesting point, Ty, and I want to hear what you think about this too, which I was going to ask you before you started that. But so based on what Lou Holtz said about Ohio State, and I almost feel like, and maybe I'm off base a little bit, I almost feel like Ohio State made a point, Jim, to go out there and be like, oh, we're not physical, huh? Hold my beer. Check this shit out,
Yep.
right? So I want to ask you, Ty, going forward, in your opinion, this is all just what we think, right? In your opinion, do you think that based on what Lou Holtz said, that coach is now going to implement or are they going to try to be more physical from here on out, or do you think that maybe they took it to Notre Dame just to say double middle fingers? I mean, do you
No,
think
I
going
think
forward?
I think there's a very specific way that college football teams are built today. I mean, what are the top programs? Alabama, who they're having a tough year. They're having a tough year out of the last 20 years.
Michigan,
They're having
Oklahoma,
right.
usual suspects.
Oklahoma, Georgia, Clemson, Notre Dame, Ohio State, like these teams are good, so you have to nitpick at them so hard to see like why is team A going to beat team B? Oh, is it toughness? Is it this or that? I don't know. I feel like
I feel like it's matchups too, though, Ty. I feel like it's matchups, though, man.
these programs at the programs that are at the tippy top, right? The very top of college football, they're so similar.
Oh, big time similar. But I
They
will tell
have-
you too, just to back that up.
It's recruiting, but to see how it works, I think because of the NIL stuff, I think here moving forward, the next 10 years, I think college football is going to look drastically different
Drastically different
than it does today. I think teams
Correct.
are going to come out of nowhere, and I think we're going to see. I think it will be good for college football, and we've talked about it before, right? Like college football's the best when Miami's good, Nebraska, Texas, USC, the Gators. You know, like when those typically national powerhouse teams are good, college football's good.
So are you talking about, you think it'll be drastically different in the sense that it'll be a much more even playing field across this?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it will be a lot more even because a team like Colorado can bring in a high profile coach because they can bring in some cash, right? Am I wrong here in saying that Deion Sanders took the job not knowing how much money Colorado actually had to give him? They said we'll come.
Oh,
up
he had
with
no.
money.
He had no. Yes,
They
he had
said
no idea.
we'll-
They actually
Colorado
agreed
told them we'll
because
come
they
up
had
with
been
the
down
money.
for over a decade.
Right,
Colorado
that's
said,
true.
if you
Yeah.
come here, we will find the money. That is a
Yeah.
fact, actually, down in Boulder.
Right.
But the thing that I was asking, why I wanted to bring that up with Jimmy, is the thing that bugs me, and I understand being a respected coach or a respected player. This could be NFL. This could be calling NFL games. How much research are they really even doing? Because I've watched OSU games, man. I've watched the Buckeyes. And for Lou Holtz to say they're not physical, I don't know what games he's watching, because yeah, okay, so they might have lost a tough one to a big rival, but you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, there is no part of the Buckeyes that are not physical. So the thing that I don't like is, like we've talked about announcers before, man, how much research are they actually doing? How many games are they actually watching? They're just trying to create some drama for marketing purposes to make something happen. And I don't know that Lou Holtz, maybe Dementia's real. I don't know. But that one irritated me, which is why I went to Jimmy, because I completely disagreed with it. And Ryan Day kind of shoved it right in Holtz's face. I thought it was great, man.
Well, here's the thing about Ohio State football is that part of what Lou Holtz said, you can't really disagree. Again, the Michigan, the Penn States are physical in the Big Ten. And when you watch Ohio State get just the ball, and they got their asses kicked the last 2 years by Michigan, it wasn't like close games. And Michigan just ran the ball down their damn throat. Ohio State, Ryan Day's job has to be on the line, guys. They can say what they want, but they're not going to stand for another loss to Michigan in Columbus. If
Now the
you know,
tenure of a head coach is like 3 to 4 years max, unless you win.
and
Well,
and
especially if you keep losing to Michigan, right? I mean, that's a fireable offense. You lose to Michigan twice. I feel like that's your walking the plank, man.
and which is why I think the last couple years has been the recruiting at Ohio State has gone in a little different direction. Yes, they're still going to get 5-star receivers and shit like that, but I feel like you watch some of the players on defense, and being an Ohio State fan, I know a little bit about their history, and the Jack Sawyer and the Timmy, and I don't even want to attempt to say his last name, the edge rusher, the Pacific Islander edge rusher from Ohio State. Them guys are physical, man, and they're bringing guys.
That was all I was saying. Is like I still see the physical play. It's not that I was calling out that they didn't get beat by Michigan. Now a lot of that could be Michigan and their recruiting and their game plan, but I have seen Ohio State every year, even when they're down a little bit. Oh, they're physical as hell, man. Now they might get beat. They might get beat, Jim, but they're still physical.
Jim, let me ask you, do you put more, I'm not sure the word is blame, because the verdict's not really out whether they're not physical enough or physical enough, but any way you slice it, if you had to assign blame, would you, for Michigan running the ball down their throat and them not being able to stop them, would you assign more blame towards personality or scheme, or maybe a little bit of both? What would you say?
You got to know what you're coming into. And bottom line is, it's a head coach. It's always going to be the head coach's fault. We could go to coordinators, we could go to personnel, but bottom line is, you've got to know every game that Ohio State plays, every game that Michigan plays over the course of the year is just a warm-up, fellas, for the big game. And so you have to know that Michigan's coming, and that's what Michigan does. I mean, Shea Patterson, had great games.
So you don't buy into the fact at all that they just didn't have the horses up front. Like maybe they just, sometimes you just have to.
You got a bunch of them playing in the NFL, so no, I don't buy into that.
Okay, right on.
There's a bunch of them that are playing in the NFL.
Okay, and do you think
complete side note, because Pat, you're the only one that decided to give it up. So what's everybody drinking, Tyler? Jim?
Oh, buddy,
what we got?
Okay, now let's get into it. Yeah, I'm into the Busch Lights.
No, you don't drink Busch Light, bro.
It's weird.
Oh, so hey, I got a fun thing for you, Jimmy. What you drinking?
Oh, the Mountains are blue, of course.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you something, because last week, I'm not joking when I told you guys, and Tyler was a little bit floored that I found an 18-pack of 16-ounce Coors Banquet for $15. So here's the best part. Now I found the 12-ouncers, okay, Coors Banquet. I got a 30 bomb for $20, $19.99. And oh, by the way, we don't pay sales tax in this state, so $19.99. So you know what? I was looking for something fancy, and I'm like, I can't pass that up. 30 beers for $20, done. Evidently, people in Montana drink a lot. Evidently, I don't know. It's a thing.
A lot. Yeah. I don't know. So, Jim, do you see Ohio State being there at the end of the? I mean, possibly making the playoffs. I mean, do you see them?
I think their offense has to get better. I think Kyle McCord The quarterback has to get better. His first year starting, he has to get better. But what's promising to me is Jim Knowles in that defense. The defense looks really good and has looked good all
They
year
look
long,
really good.
and are bailing out the offense a
Yeah.
lot. So that's real encouraging to me. I don't know whether they'll be around at the end of the year. Again, they've got a number 7 Penn State team. They've got a number 2 Michigan team that they've got to go through.
Yeah, they're going to be a tough schedule.
Big Ten. Big Ten.
The defense is where I came up with the physicality of it. To be honest
Yeah,
with you,
and they got it. But
it was
like
the
every year,
Big
Ohio
Ten, the Big Ten is adding Oregon and Washington next year, right?
Yep.
Man,
that's going to be a badass conference.
Yeah,
That's going to be a badass conference.
So you're talking about arguably the toughest conference in football.
Good
Yeah,
Lord, look
they're
what
gonna-
Washington
they're
did to
gonna-
Colorado,
they're
and look what
gonna
the
run
Huskies
right up
did.
there. The SEC and by next year, the Big Ten. Watch how many of those bowl games are against each other.
Oh man,
Guaranteed.
Right? So,
Guaranteed.
so switching gears a little bit, I want to ask you, Lee. Give me your opinion. So the beatdown, and we'll just talk about it really briefly because we don't want to make it just a weekly conference of Colorado. But I do want
I'm a homer. Oh no,
I do want to get your opinion. The game that beatdown put on display by Oregon. In your opinion, was that more Oregon, or is that more lack of Colorado? Or
No,
a little bit of
it's 1,000% Oregon. That program is that good. The way that program is run, I knew, and we touched on it last week, that Colorado isn't ready for Oregon.
No.
And we touched on it. And by the way, next week you got USC. Good luck with Caleb.
USC.
You know,
I think
so good
can I go
luck
on
with
record?
Caleb Williams.
I'm going to
It's
say
not
that's
gonna
going to be a
happen.
bigger beatdown. I think that's going to be a bigger beatdown.
That's exactly where I was going. I think the USC game could potentially be a bigger beatdown for the Buffaloes, but I will still give Coach Prime all the credit in the world, because to start off 3-0, okay, so the big one was TCU, number 17, which, by the way, yeah, granted 17, but they lost a lot of players, but they were in the national championship game last year. So they played for the championship, but we all knew that Oregon, that they couldn't hang with Oregon, and there is no way they're hanging with USC. Maybe Dion and his coaches will make some adjustments, but
I bet
nothing
it's
shocked
closer.
me. I mean,
I bet it's closer.
I think it will
Yeah,
be just
USC
because of
handles
pride
them
for
easy.
Dion.
Well, I think it's
guaranteed.
I think it's more than a little than pride for Dion, but I think the players themselves just got a good look at exactly where they're at.
Right.
They got a good look at an actual
good way to say that.
real life top 15 year in and year out NCAA team. They ran into a team in Oregon that, well, just like their coach said, right? Like, did you guys see the pregame speech Oregon's coach gave?
I did.
Yes, I did.
He looked crazy. He looked he looked insane. You know what I mean? And
I know, he might have been on something we don't know.
What he was saying wasn't wrong. That, like, Oregon,
Nope.
Oregon's been there for the last 10, 15 years, right? And he told them, like, the Cinderella story's over, right? Like, they're in it for clips, we're in it for wins.
Yeah.
No shit. And it showed. It showed a school or university that, like, has been in it. Oregon's been good. Oregon's been really good. They played for a national championship. Since the college football playoff started, there's only been so many teams. Oregon's been right in there.
To me, it's just talent. It's simple formula.
Yeah,
2 + 2 is 4.
Yeah, talent.
I mean, 2 + 2 is 4. 2 + 2 is going to be 4 to the end of time. And the teams that have more talent, 99% of the time are going to win.
Oregon looked pissed. They came out. They looked like that duck was on fire, dude. They came out from the absolute jump.
Yeah, they weren't playing, man. Yeah, they weren't. I mean, it was, you know, I feel so it was a beatdown at halftime, 35-0. But I feel like, you know, it might as well have been 70-0. I mean, it just because there was nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, total yard, what was it like at halftime? 240 yards at 27 or something. It was something stupid. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we just saw that. We just saw how deep Oregon is. A program like Oregon, how deep they are. They're rolling guys off their bench and be starting for Colorado.
That's a
And-
fact because Colorado
Absolutely.
does not have depth. Man, they don't have
Yeah,
depth.
well, I mean, this is the first year, and they got their studs, and then
Yep.
after that, I think they fall off quite a bit.
And
right?
I think just having
1000%.
want to, right? Like you have a team that has want to, like they want to be great. Like with Deion Sanders, right? Like if that guy doesn't preach the want to, the need to for players, but at the end of the day, like you just don't have it. You just don't have it. Like you can
You're not there
want
yet.
it, you can want it, and you can preach it, and you can do all those things. And I think that was the weird, like I think Oregon's coach wasn't trying to be shitty. He wasn't trying to make like
No.
bulletin board material. He was just stating the
Motivation.
facts. He was just stating the facts that like you guys are like. It seemed to me he was saying like they want to. We have. You
Right,
know.
right.
The kicker is, though, I mean, think about it, though. I mean, there's all these commercials on ESPN with Coach Prime and the Buffs and all this stuff, all this hype.
Yeah.
around
the glasses.
Buffaloes.
The
Why
glasses. I mean,
wouldn't you, as a coach? Yeah, why wouldn't you, as a coach of the Ducks, be like, oh no, here's our motivation. They want to be all fancy and shit. We're gonna run it down their throat.
we
And
also
it was 35-0 at halftime, man. It was an ass whooping of epic proportions.
and we kind of knew that going in, though, that Oregon was looking at, they were going to use that as motivation. Like these guys are getting all the, you know, everybody's talking about them. We're you know,
What
I
about
feel
us?
like they want to go out and say, here's this team that you're, and matter of fact, he said that before the game. He says all this, or no, at halftime. I'm sorry, when they went into the locker room at halftime, he said, all those people they've been watching Denver all these weeks, I hope they're watching today. I mean, dude, 35-0
Right?
at halftime. That was something else.
That was a tough one,
Um,
man. You
Well,
go up 35
yeah.
zip on any team.
You say
What
you
about
say-
Acuna? Have you guys seen anything about it? Ronald Acuna Jr. the third?
Yeah,
What a
he's you're
season.
talking right. So what is he? Let me get this straight. So he already hit his 40th, right? Bomb.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's like 6 stolen bases away from 70.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stolen-
He's one. Is he the first 40-60 guy? I can't remember. He's like
He is.
either
No.
the first 40-60 guy
I knew he was
or
gonna be the
very
first.
close.
I thought he was going to be. I know for a fact that he'll be. That no one's ever gone 40-70, but I thought there was somebody who hit 40-60. I thought.
Either way,
Was there
dude,
one
if
other
only
guy?
one
I
other
think it was
guy has
Ricky.
done it.
I think Ricky Henderson was
Henderson would have been close, but I don't know if he ever got
close,
40
but
bombs.
he's never. I don't think
Yeah,
Ricky
dude, a
Henderson
40-60 guy, that's crazy.
Well, he's like 4. He's like 5 away. Maybe he's like right there, up to and touching. If he steals 70 in a season and hits 40 bombs, dude, how is he? He's got to be the number 1 ranked player in the majors. I mean, who's better? I mean,
Guaranteed.
Shortlist.
Guaranteed he would be.
I mean, is he unanimous? Is he unanimous MVP?
oh,
Oh God,
I
I
don't know.
think so.
I mean,
I think
who
so.
else you got in the
How
National
do
League? I mean,
you,
this
how do
guy's
you
having a
take
good
those
season.
stats away from him?
Who are you thinking, Jim?
The only guy that I see even close would be Mookie. I mean, you've got
Mookie.
his own teammate Olsen,
Right,
got 52 or whatever home runs,
right.
but the only one I think that's even close would be Mookie Betts. But I just don't see it happening. I think he's
But-
runaway MVP this year, and
Oh, I don't.
as long as he is, man, he could string some.
Well, think about it. If you don't give him the MVP, you just shafted a guy that has done something that no other major leaguer has done, man. Are you
Well, let's-
shitting me?
let's not forget he's also hitting 335.
Oh, that's just bananas. How are you going to give that to? I see. I don't follow the Braves, but I was thinking that he was like right up, like he was close to 300. I didn't know he was batting 335.
Yeah, he's second. The only one in the National League hitting with a higher average than he is that a Rays kid from
Miami.
Marlins.
Yeah,
And he's
From the
hitting
Marlins.
350
yeah. He was up around 400 for a while there.
for a while, and then of course, second half
But,
of the season.
think about it. So
but can we
is-
also talk about Tyler and his 439 batting average in softball? Because that was pretty damn impressive. I mean,
it's a lot higher than that.
we
if you're
gotta
talking
give
about
credit
this
where
Tyler-
credit's due. I
if
mean,
you're talking about this, Tyler, you're a couple 100 points short, buddy.
Yeah, 439. If you're hitting,
damn it, dude! I'm
439 for
trying to give you
softball,
some props, man.
No,
you ever
I
seen
appreciate that, but I'm a lot higher.
We're talking
than that.
slow pitch, bro. We're talking slow
no,
pitch.
I know what you're
Come on.
talking. I know what you're talking, and I was.
and 439 in slow pitch softball, dude.
It's
You're
horrible.
playing wreck.
yeah.
You're not. You're playing wreck.
So, have you guys ever seen that that U.S. softball team? Those guys, you have guys on there hitting like 779.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, that is so ridiculous. They're like 779,
I've
780.
got a buddy that hits higher than that in a very high league.
Well,
No
there's
shit.
probably, okay. So I'm probably misspoken.
And
They're
you're
probably
his batting
more
coach, right,
900,
T?
but-
No, one of my best friends in the whole world. I bet he hits 800, and he plays
Jesus.
at like some of the top level. Like he plays some of the biggest tournaments in the world.
Well, that was a deep dive into softball. I was just trying to give Tyler
Yeah.
some props.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like this. Yeah, I know people that like the slow pitch softball world is still thriving. Like there are.
Oh, there's some hardcore
I
motherfuckers
know-
in there.
I know I'm speaking of Jim because I know Jim, you and I have talked about this before, but have you guys ever seen that one? It's like a charity event. I want to say maybe it's back in the early to mid 90s, where that U.S. softball team played like this collection of major leaguers. They played softball. And if I'm not mistaken, again, this is so long ago, but I think I remember at the time you could only hit one home run. And then if you hit a home run after that, it was an out. So you just couldn't up there swing for the fences, right? But the U.S. softball team beat them like 28-13 or something. Just smoked them because it's so different, man.
Different deal.
Like you think because you're a major leaguer, you could, and you probably can be a pretty good softball player, but there's a legitimate difference between playing softball and playing baseball. And these major leaguers would scoot back, and these softball players would bounce them in front of them. They'd scoot up, they'd rope them over their heads. I mean, these guys, man, they put that ball anywhere they want to, you know, and it was all for charity and everything. But a lot of the major leaguers, I think John Kruk actually played. I remember hearing a lot of them after the game, and they're talking about, we got a lot more respect for this game. I mean, they had no idea that it was, you know, if I'm a major leaguer, I can play. Well,
It's a different swing. Coming right out of baseball and playing slow pitch softball. I'm telling you, I struggled a little bit right off the bat. And
how many people? Hey, how many people did you see swing and strike out that you went, that's a baseball swing?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly
No,
what
dude,
you're
I
saying.
have
That's a
done it.
baseball swing.
I've done it plenty of times. Like when I first got into playing too, it was like you would swing and just go like, how in the fuck did I miss that? How did I miss it? And you can
Hey,
Yes.
all the time, dude.
When
You
I-
can see like, no, that's a baseball swing. That's not a softball swing.
1000%,
first started-
buddy. 1000.
when I first started my first practice, I'll bet you I swung and missed 7 times before I even touched the ball.
holy
That's crazy.
shit.
Because of the
There
of
is
the
no
same
way
thing.
on this planet that the majestic lion had a piece of lumber in his hand and missed 7 times in a row.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way.
It's
Yep.
hard though.
Yeah,
It's hard
God
though,
damn
'cause,
it.
like when you're playing like competitive baseball, you have to be so on time with hitting a fastball, right? Like
Right.
Like
Oh yeah.
that's
big time.
you gotta be foot down early. If anything else, like all I can do is throw my barrel at it. And then you try to bring that same mentality to softball, and you're like, oh, if I'm early here, I'm so on time, I'm gonna pound this thing out. And if you're early in slow pitch softball, dude, you're so far in front of it.
It's like
Yeah,
a day
you
and
know
a
what
half.
that
time,
reminds me of?
Just because just being on time is so much different. Like being in your whole swing, everything, like being on time for whatever sport that is a huge difference.
Well, that reminds me of who's that head coach? I think maybe it was Phil Jackson. It was big time head coach in the NBA. He had a saying, and you have to really think about it. But he says, "Be quick, but don't hurry." I mean,
Mhm.
that's there's a difference, right? Being quick, but don't hurry. What I was going to tell you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever been there. I think Jim, you lived in Utah for a little bit, so you might have been. But there's a fun park in Salt Lake City, Utah, called the Galleria. And anybody that's going through Utah, you're going through Salt Lake, you got a chance to stay the night, go check out the Galleria, man. They got bumper boats. They got, um, I mean, they got everything. Laser
I've
tag,
actually heard
batting
about this
cages.
one. Yeah.
They got the bungee cord. I mean, it's huge. It's. I mean, even if you don't have any kids, man, you have a blast. They have a huge arcade, games that you've never seen in years. So, but at the batting cages, they actually have fast pitch softball, and they're clocked. It says on the side they clock between 85 and 89 miles an hour. So, Jim and Tyler, you guys will probably do a lot better than me. But 10 balls, I fouled 3 off. And I'm going to tell you something. This is what I
That's
think of.
impressive.
This is what I think of when I see Jared Cole throwing like 99 with movement. This is the shit that I think of the Galleria. Because 89 miles an hour off a machine, when you see that softball on top of the reel, swing. That's how fast 89 miles an hour gets there. When you see that ball comes up on top of the reel to spit toward where you're standing, start your swing, man. That's 89. Can't even imagine what 99 with movement looks like. Good Lord, man. I fouled 3 off and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm going back.
Do you remember, Pat, do you remember back in the day this was like battling with ESPN. There was it was Fox, I'm sure. And it was the best damn sports show ever, right?
I do remember that.
Okay,
Yep.
so do you guys remember that? I mean, it was a thing. So there was a segment they did, and John Kruk, who we know John Kruk with his all-star game with Randy Johnson, hat on backwards, doing the thing. So they bring these professional major leaguers on, and they take them outside the studio, and they film this whole thing, and they put it on there. And Jenny Finch, which, unbeknownst of her being one of the most attractive people on the planet, Jenny Finch is pitching to these major leaguers, these ex-major leaguers, and John Kruk was one of them. And it was
Ripping it by him.
so the distance. Yeah, the distance was close. Distance was close. It was the softball, distance. And she struck out every single major leaguer. There was 3 of them, and I can't remember who it was. It was John Kruk and 2 other guys. And I'm like, are you shitting me? One of them foul tipped a ball. One. And it wasn't Kruk. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? That's fast pitch softball, bro. These women give it up.
That ball coming under hand and the way it
I'll tell you something. I
played
in a men's underhand softball tournament one time. I did it, no bullshit, one time. Because the guy, he looked like Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's no fucking bullshit. This dude, no hair. He didn't have a stitch of hair on his head. And if anybody that ever watches this or knows it, like, they get a jump, they get a hop before they throw it underhand. And I don't know what it is, but there's like a technicality about like what counts as jumping off the mound and pitching it underhand and actually doing it like that what's legal. So
Hmm.
I
Oh, get
show
out.
up to this tournament. I'm a young 20-year-old in my early 20s, good shape, like have been playing a lot of swing and hit sports, you know? I swear to God, dude, I didn't even see the fucking ball. This dude, he looked like it sounded like the glass broke. The Stone Cold Steve Austin
Stone
glass
Cold.
broke. Dude, and between every pitch, and this dude was jumping off the mound and ripping. Dude, I tried to lay down. I tried to lay down a bunt.
That doesn't sound
That
fun
was
at
the
all.
best thing I could do. I took 2 swings and 0-2. I tried to bunt.
That actually
Like-
sounds badass to me. I mean, just the
Like
fact that you can
you're
actually talk about
like
that
you're
and,
standing-
and relate it to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like you're standing in the batter's box, you're like, I don't know whether to swing or run out and get his autograph, man. Holy shit.
I swear to I like hand-eye coordination, right? Like bat to the ball.
Oh,
Bat to the ball. And I went 0-2 before I ever even when the catcher was throwing it back to him was the first time I saw the fucking ball.
dude, that's I'd never.
And
fuck, I
0-2,
would-
0-2
With
I
you,
tried to
not
drop
at
a
you,
bunt.
Tyler.
0-2 I tried to drop a bunt down because I was like, what am I? That's as good as me swinging and missing 4 feet behind it.
Oh my god, that
Dude,
would
I'm
that
laughing with you, not at you. I
Oh,
promise
that'd
you,
be
I'm
so-
laughing
well,
with
fuck it.
you, not at you.
No, yeah, dude. Like I said, like
I
good
think-
shape, good young.
Hey,
It's
can we-
incredible.
can we-
It's incredible how
can
hard
we-
they can throw underhand.
Oh, big time, man! So we got a little bit of a late start. Can we touch a little bit on some NFL shit, guys? Because I mean, NFL's kind of big.
whatever.
Anyone
Whatever.
got
you
something to
want.
say about that?
Well, I'll say it. I'll say it right now. Yeah, you guys can flash your dolphin shit and whatever you do, but it has been confirmed that the Denver Broncos are the worst team in the NFL.
Oof,
Yeah.
boy, they're bad, aren't
That's
they?
a tough
Hey,
call.
wait a second.
Absolutely.
Wait a second though. I just okay. Don't they have Patrick Surtain like the second or the third, or I'm not sure what goes after that.
Second.
But
But he
Second,
can't-
yeah.
he
he's a
can't
really
do
good
it all.
quarterback, is he not?
Listen,
He got torched all day.
Here it is. Here it is. You cannot allow 70 points in the NFL to another team, don't care how good or how bad you are. When does that ever happen? It
Oh
just
my
doesn't.
God.
And against second teamers and third teamers, they just didn't give a shit. I'm not sure.
Mike
if
White.
I'm not sure if Sean Payton has lost the locker room or what's
Did
going
he ever
on.
have it?
There's
Did
a
he
good
ever
chance
have
that
it?
he didn't. There's a good chance that he didn't. He
So
came
Jim,
running his mouth.
you brought up an that's a great point, interesting point. Let me ask you, repercussions?
Well, I mean, you're getting lit up for 70 with a team that had high hopes and talking about the best improvement over wins,
Right.
possibly this year, and all this hype and shit, and you get 70 put on you. I don't care that the Dolphins are very good offensively. You have got to be able to stop second and third teamers.
So I want to be clear about something in case anybody is wondering. The previous high for total offensive yards in a game used to
72.
be 722. Now it's 726.
72.
But
It was 72 points in 1966.
no, not. I mean, I'm sorry, yards. Total yards in a
Oh, yeah,
game.
yards is done.
It used to be 722. Now it's 726. They had 726 total offensive yards in today's game, which is a new NFL record. And I feel like Jim, listen, I'm sorry, even if it's not this poor fucker's fault, the coordinator's got to go, right? I mean, you got to make a statement. I feel like somebody's got to be
I'm
fired out of
telling
it.
you, somebody's
Somebody's got to lose their job, man.
that is absolutely horrible. So let's also be clear. They allowed 2 different running backs 4 touchdowns apiece.
Jesus. A rookie.
It's
Rookie
not going to be on
quarterback.
Sean Payton. He will not take the axe. Sean Payton will not take the axe. Somebody else. Well, Sean Payton in his 15 years and his Super Bowl win, he's not going anywhere in Denver unless he wants to leave.
Well,
It will be a coordinator somewhere. It's not going to be Sean Payton.
Denver
I'm
can't
sorry.
afford to pay. Dude, if it was a guaranteed contract. They got him for
know.
what? I think it was 5 years. So okay, fire me and I'll sit at the house and collect $9 million a season. That's fine.
It just I don't know what's going on, and I feel bad. I got a lot of buddies here in Colorado that they're obviously they're going to be Denver. They're going to be Bronco fans and stuff. And man, the hype here. I mean, of course we heard it nationally, but the hype here, we got Sean Payton. He's going to figure out the Russell Wilson, and let's also be fair. Russell Wilson hasn't had terrible game, not like he did last year.
Well, no, he actually looked pretty good. He actually looked pretty good.
But fellas, they can't score over 20 points for whatever reason, and you're giving up 70. Last week they're up by 18 at halftime.
Yeah,
And take a shit and lose the game.
This defense and the Broncos, traditionally, I mean, that's their go-to. What has been their defense.
So this is a great time to revisit this, Ty. Did Denver give up too much for Russell Wilson? Because they gave up a lot, and now
It's so
their
hard,
defense.
man. I think it's so hard. In the NFL, it's a quarterback-driven league.
But they're so bad.
No, right. But like the Broncos, even when Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl with the Broncos, it wasn't because of Peyton Manning.
No,
that
not
was,
at all.
that
You know
was
what I mean?
historically.
Like, dude, their defense was good. Peyton Manning at that point in his career was just make smart decisions.
Don't make a mistake.
Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it
Don't
up.
fuck up.
Don't fuck it up. And
Here's the point,
but
guys.
Russell Wilson had a Hall of Fame trajectory.
Absolutely.
He's hit Denver. He is so hard backpedaling out of being in the Hall of Fame. Dude, he's backpedaling. To say that Denver, why would you not? We all our favorite teams. If they were in the state that the Broncos had been in at quarterback, and to go Russell Wilson is a 10-time upgrade.
Right.
So what is it?
Wait.
What is it? Is it more? It's obvious. It's so apparent because you can just look at it and go, it's obviously more than the quarterback. At this point, if that's what it's always been, and we get Russell Wilson, and look at us again. It's not a quarterback thing, man. It's from the head coach, it's to the GM, it's to the ownership.
Okay, but to be fair, he hasn't been great. He had a better day today, but he hasn't been great. Let's just start there. But number two,
but is he not? How many times better is he than Brock Osweiler?
Oh,
thank you. But Pat, so
how many times better is he than Trevor Siemian? Siemian.
I roll.
You know what I mean? It's
yes,
not.
I
don't think it's just a quarterback thing. It's like you
agree,
got to start from the top down.
But
I rolled last season to an anomaly, Pat. I mean, he came in after they spent every freaking dime they had to get him. He had nobody. But right now, what he's done, if you look at his numbers, what Russell Wilson has done with Denver is good. The problem is his defense sucks and they can't stop anybody. No, you look at the numbers and compare them across the league.
Last year he wasn't good, man. You go look at them. Last year he had
I just said that. Last year I just said that.
Yeah.
He had fucking 18 guys from accounting on the roster. So right now, this year, his numbers are actually pretty decent. The problem is he's got a defense that can't do shit. So when you have Sean Payton walk in, Sean Payton's going to be the savior, right? Sean Payton won a Super Bowl, great coach, 15 years in the league. I get it. but the organization has ran this thing into the ground so far, it takes a long time to dig it out, man. I'm sorry, but it does, Denver
Okay, but
fans.
here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying there's not a team out there that shouldn't have traded for Russell Wilson. I just don't think it's Denver. And the reason why I don't think it's Denver is because Denver was horrible before Russell Wilson came. And by them trading for Russell Wilson, what they did was deplete their assets. They gave up a Pro Bowl tight end. They gave up a couple really good veterans that didn't make Pro Bowl, but were really that were good for the team. And they gave up their draft stock. So what they did, you had a bad team trading for a good quarterback. He's coming to a team that's just as bad, if not worse. So I think that it would have been a much better fit if Russell Wilson went to a team that was literally a good quarterback away from the Super Bowl. I said this when they made that trade. Denver is a lot further away from contention than a good quarterback. And I'm not the guru.
Guaranteed.
I've been wrong probably more times I've been right. All I'm saying is that I don't think Denver was in – they were already bad before Russell Wilson got there. They gave up so much to get him. How does anybody expect they're going to just magically be good because they've got a top-tier quarterback? They everything else needs attention, and they don't have the assets to improve it. So
Sean Payton, my opinion only, Sean Payton is putting the ship in the right direction. Now, granted, they're 0-3, and yes, they were embarrassed by, oh, by the way, my team, and that was awesome for me to watch, but I'm going to tell you right now, Sean Payton is riding that ship. He's pointed in the right direction. Sean Payton is not in the front office. He's not. He's going to have influence, but this is first year, so he's going to have influence on draft and things of that nature and trades. But he's still stuck with what he had, and what he's done is make the offense better for Russell Wilson. The defense is a joke. Let's be honest.
But they're not scoring any more points.
right.
Yeah, exactly my point. But he's working on. If you look at the QBR, if you look at Russell Wilson's QBR, and you look at his efficiency, he's way like light years above last year. I'm not saying Seattle years, but it's getting back towards that direction. And who knows? I mean, I have a lot. I really like Sean Payton. I think he's a great coach. I don't know what's going to happen with Denver. It's not my team, but I still think that Sean Payton will have a say with how that organization goes. And after going 0-3 and dropping 70 to the Dolphins, they have to. They don't have a choice. They have to.
So really quick, I want to wrap this segment up with Around the Horn. I want to just just give me a quick yes or no. That's a possibility. I want to get your opinion. At this point in time, after getting taken out to the woodshed in probably the most literal, example, I want to know, Jim, fire sale for Denver? Yes or no? Go full rebuild? Yes or no?
No.
Ty?
No.
Yes.
Yes? Lee?
Yes.
No, I'm a hard no for that one.
I'm going to go yes. There's going to be a split panel. And the reason why I say that is because even right now, I still believe you're 0-3. Now, just to be clear, no team that has ever started 0-2 has ever reached the Super Bowl. Okay? So that's obviously a no. But I think they're so bad right now that you're just they're obviously, like Jim said, one of the worst teams in the league. 0-3. The wheels have come off the wagon. I believe you could still get a first and maybe a couple more picks for Russell Wilson. I say pull that trigger, man. Pull that trigger. A time for a rebuild. If Coach wants to do this the right way, Sean Payton, trade Russell Wilson, highest bidder, and 3 years from now they'll be in contention. That's just my opinion. So we need to wrap this session up. I think we had some really good conversations today. Let's go around the horn and let's get some curtain calls. Start with you, Ty.
Mine goes out to the Pac-12, the conference that may not be around here much longer. I mean, to see what they're doing in college football right now, 7 teams in the top 25, maybe 8. Like it's impressive and it sucks. It sucks for people who have been watching the pack, whether it is 12, 10, 8, 6. Like, I mean, some of these games have been going on for over 100 years. Some of these rivalries, and to see it just absolutely like it's never going to be a thing again. And I just think that sucks a little bit. So
It does. It does.
yeah,
Yep,
I
it
think
absolutely
that
does.
sucks. It sucks.
How about you, Lee?
Okay, so Tyler actually kind of jumped on that because I was going the same way because honestly, because the Pac-12 doesn't even exist anymore. What I'm seeing in that, had that conference stayed together and had that conference been cohesive and got their TV deal and generated the dollars necessary, if you look at some of these power schools, and this is not just to say that, you know, the elites of the world. I love that Alabama's down a little bit. I love that Alabama's not rolling everybody, but the fact that those teams are no longer going to have an official conference and they're going to be moving, the realignment thing we've touched on, it's something that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But it's really scary because, man, I watched the Oregon State Washington State game that we didn't touch on, and holy hell, you've got two teams inbred in that conference that are just kicking ass and taking names, and for it to kind of be swept under the rug pisses me off a little bit. So I got to double down on that. I got to double down on it, man, because Pac-12, holy hell, and I would love to go with my Dolphins and what they did today, but I think the whole world's going to hear about that a lot in the next few days. So
Sure.
there you go.
How about you, Jim?
I'm gonna, speaking of Pac-12, I'm gonna go with Gardner Minshew. He just
right.
the timing,
For sure.
right? Trevor Lawrence,
Yeah.
and then now all of a sudden Anthony Richardson. Everybody wants to go young, everybody wants to go potential, and all this
Yeah.
guy does is win football games and
He just
puts
goes out there and competes. Puts his team puts his team in a position to win the game, whether they do it or they don't. But he's always,
absolutely.
dude. Look what he
No,
did in
fuck that.
Baltimore.
Fuck
Might be one
that.
of the toughest
I
places
know
to
why you
play.
fucking said what you said. It's not a Gardner
No,
Minshew
no.
thing. Ah, fuck you.
No, because listen, man, we followed Gardner Minshew when he was at Washington State. And I've always liked the guy. I thought he's just that safe bet that you're going to get a couple hundred or better yards and he's not going to hurt you. And he goes into a very, very tough place in Baltimore against a very, very tough team in the Ravens and just gets it done, man.
No,
Just
yeah,
goes
he
out
just got.
there.
Oh, don't. I don't.
Yeah, but is Gardner
just
being a now wait, is Gardner just being a quarterback now, or is he still do the porn thing on the side? I wasn't
No,
sure
he's got the mustache to match. I know that. Yeah.
We all have mustaches.
So since you guys, I don't want the NFL to feel like they're the redheaded stepchild. So since you guys all went college, listen, man, I'm gonna go Tua.
I
I'm
fucking
going-
knew you would,
Oh,
bro. That's
no
why I
way,
went
dude.
for
That
you.
was
Listen,
minus.
listen.
That was minus
Listen.
10,000 on the betting sheet for
Perfect.
you to go
Wait,
to.
wait. We're not talking, dude. Wait, just let me get this in. Perfect passer rating, man. Perfect passer rating. 22 for 25, 4 touchdowns, 299 yards. All you Tua haters, eat it. That's all I'm saying.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us here on
agree,
Cocktails and
and cheers to
Curveballs.
that.
You guys can catch us on Gmail, Cocktails and Curveballs. Check us out on Instagram. Look for us on
Hit us
YouTube.
up on Spotify, man.
subscribe.
Hit us up on Spotify.
Like, subscribe, share. Cocktails and Curveballs. We're now on Spotify. We're still working out the kinks a little bit, but we're getting there. So check us out. Enjoy our show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Cheers.